So this is video 2 out of 5 of me making my wedding dress. This video is mainly about me making the skirt of the dress. I sew the waistband, I hem it, and then finally I'm able to move on to the next step, which is adding the satin and lace on top of the corset up top. Here is part 2 of how I made my wedding dress. So I also kind of forgot about a step that I had to do yesterday. After I sewed the side seams, and of course I ironed them open, I also cut the back of the satin and the lining layer because I'm going to have a zipper at the top few inches. And so I cut that and sewed that, but that's going to get sewn together later after I put the waistband on. So now the waistband is what I'm going to work on. So yeah. So it's the next day and I'm still working on the waistband. I had the goal to finish the skirt last night and I did not, but the waistband's been taking a little bit longer. What I did was, so I pleated this ribbon first over on the ironing board, and then I cut out some cotton lining to the same length and width of the pleated ribbon, and I sewed the layers of the skirt together and then onto the cotton, and then I sewed the pleated ribbon on top of that, and that took a minute because I got this ribbon that has beading on the edge and it doesn't go under the presser foot of my sewing machine, so I had to use a zipper foot with my needle all the way to the left, and it actually made it look really good. So I'm happy about that. I'm just hoping it also doesn't show other problems. But yeah, so now I'm just sewing the top end of the cotton waistband to the ribbon. And the hard part is that I have to, because I can't get the needle to go all the way to the right, just to the left, I have to have this edge on the left, which means that all this skirt is in the way and can't go through my sewing machine. So that's kind of annoying, but I hopefully will work through it. I'll work slow so I don't get messed up. And anyway, but we'll see how this goes. And after that, I will just have a couple more steps to be done with the waistband, and then I can work on this zipper. Yay! Okay, so I am super excited right now because I made a big step on the dress, because on the skirt, I finished the waistband. It's looking pretty good. And I finished the zipper, which is back here, right here. Oh, there we go. And so it's actually looking like a skirt now. Look at that. I put the hoop under it so it's looking nice and full. I do want to I kind of want to have a bow back here. But I'm gonna hold off on that for a while because I know that the top is gonna take longer, and if I don't have time for that, it looks good as is anyway. But what I still really need to do is put the lace on the top layer of tulle, and I have to hem the bottom, but I'm gonna want some help with that so I know I'm hemming it to exactly the right length while I'm, standing straight in my wedding shoes, which it looks like it's a pretty good length right now, but we will see. But yeah, so I'm actually gonna move on to the top now because I was about halfway done with the corset when I needed to combine my pattern with the pattern I was reading, and so I kind of stopped on that to get the skirt done because I thought the skirt would be easier, which in some ways it was, in some ways it wasn't. And so, but now, either way, I am going to move back to the top and hopefully get a good portion of that done today as well. It's also kind of a mess. You can see I have the lace, my serger, extra fabric, I have my ironing board, stuff kind of all over. My sewing machine's on the floor because my dress was, the skirt was so heavy that it didn't work very well to have the sewing machine still up there. Oh look, there's a chair because that was getting in my way. Extra fabric and fabric that was in my box that I had to get out to get my serger out. So, it's fun stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get going on the shirt again. So the skirt is pretty much done now. I just have to add the lace, but I spent a good amount of time. I checked the length and it's pretty good, and I spent a good amount of time hemming the bottom. It took a while because it's like a circumference of like over 25 feet, so it's pretty wide, but there was a lot to do, but the skirt's pretty much done other than adding the lace on, which I am gonna do later because I need to get back to the corset. So I just finished the top edge of the corset, the front and the back right there, because I hadn't done that yet. And so now what I need to do is the part I'm kind of scared about, because it's the beginning of my own design, and that is cutting out the satin and lace overlay to go over top of the corset. And I really hope it turns out right. I don't know exactly what shape to make it to work out, and this is kind of why I moved to the skirt, and I pretty much finished the skirt before I even came back to the corset. But that is the next step, and after that I hope things go smoothly for the rest of it. But I am making some progress on the top. Okay, so it took a few days, but I finally got the courage to start cutting out. I was so afraid I was gonna mess up, but I have down here, honestly, it just looks like a trapezoid, because I didn't want to worry about like cutting the neckline perfectly yet. So there was this other pattern that I was able to get for just a couple of dollars when a bunch of patterns were on sale, and I wanted to use it as reference for the sleeves, and I decided to also use it as reference for the top. So what I'm gonna do is the corset's gonna be the underneath layer, and then I'm using this as a reference for making the top layer the satin and the lace overlay. And so basically I used the pattern pieces on here, which they were super small because like on these patterns it's just for like the very top part, and then the rest is like attached to the skirt. But so I just used that and extended it down to the bottom of the corset and up to the neckline and the shoulders, and I'm hoping that it's big enough. I'd rather it be big enough than too small, because if it's too small then I'm gonna have to add something somewhere. But so yeah, so I have the trapezoid is the center front, and then the side fronts are kind of like these weird pointy shapes, and then the back, each side of the back is here, just kind of a strange rectangle-ish shape. But now I've just been also worrying about cutting the lace out to the right place, because I want the natural end of the lace to be the neckline at this point. And so I was figuring that out, and I realized that the middle of the lace is the same as that end of the lace, but it's continued on. And so if I cut it there, but then just cut off where, like as if it was ending on that end, then I can still have the lace attached here and just cut it out in a trapezoid like that. So I think I'm gonna go with that. Things are starting to come together, and in a minute I should be back to sewing, and that's when the moment of truth will happen, when I will actually know if I cut everything right. Cross our fingers. But yeah, it's hopefully going well. Okay, so I cut out the lace for the front. You can kind of see it right here, and this one right here I pinned together the front center and the front left side, and I'm gonna sew them together now, and I'm still hoping it works out. Okay, I just want to count one of the struggles I'm facing right now. The overlay just doesn't like sit right, and I think the top, it might be fixed by tapering in this underneath the breasts right here and tapering it down there. Cross our fingers on that. And then also the back of the corset, which is over there, also doesn't sit exactly right, because the back of the corset isn't flat. So I'm yet to decide exactly what I'm gonna do on that. This is not working right now, and I'm low on time, and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit, but hopefully it just can get done.